You know, I see a lot of guys practicing their putting or on the green, the practice green, warming up before their round, and they drop the ball, 2 or 3 balls, 25 or 30 feet from the hole, and they'll putt those, and then they walk up to what they've left. They walk up to what they have left, which is 3, 4, 5 feet, and they rake the ball away and then go practice the long one again. And that is absolutely the wrong thing to do. In fact, you should spend most of your practice time on those putts in what I call the kill zone, 3, 4, 5 footers. I practice that more than anything else, and that's what you should practice. Not practicing those short putts is a huge mistake. And today we're going to talk about why that is. First, you should practice those short putts, 3, 4, 5 feet, because you miss too many. You really do. The average, think about it this way, 3 footers. The average tour professional makes 99.8%. The best guys on the tour are at 100% on putts of 3 foot. The average amateur makes about 70%, 7 out of 10 from 3 feet. Back up to 5 footers and it gets even worse. The best players on the tour make approximately 70% of putts from 5 feet. The average amateur, if you're a high handicapper, shoot in the 90s, you make less than 50%. If you shoot in the 80s, you make about half of your putts from 5 feet. Now think about this. If you could simply get good enough to make 70% of your putts from 5 feet, you'd be at a tour pro level. You cannot. Most of you don't have the skill, the ability, the equipment, or the time for a swing coach to be able to hit it off the tee like the tour pros, or to throw darts with your irons like they do. But you do have the time, the skill, and the ability to get good enough to make 7 out of 10 from 5 feet. And that's what you ought to work on and why you ought to practice. Now, I know some of you say, oh, well, you know, those are gimmies, those are tap-ins, it doesn't matter. Well, the problem with that is it really hurts your game in a couple of ways. One is you're not used to making those, and then you have a situation where you have to make one because you're in a tournament or a competition, or there's money on the line and you choke up and get nervous and you miss it. Here's another way that hurts your game.
Hey guys, the reason the card girls have to give you their number is because you give yourself short putts. Unfortunately, we're only attracted to men who cut out.
Guys, that's what she said. A second reason that you should practice these putts from 5 feet and less is getting up and down matters, and it matters a lot. Think about it this way. Most of you probably don't hit a whole lot of greens. A lot of us miss the green. Do you realize that you can miss all 18 greens? You can hit absolutely 0 greens in a round, and if you can pitch it into what I call the kill zone, that circle around the hole, 3 to 5 feet, just 6 out of the 18 times, 1 out of 3 times, and then make that putt. You realize that you're breaking 84, or you're breaking 85, you're shooting 84. If you can only hit 5 greens, and then you get up and down still 6 times, you're all the way down to breaking 80. And for most of you, that's a huge improvement in your score. So getting up and down matters, and that's why you need to practice those putts 3, 4, 5 feet inside the kill zone, so that you absolutely know when you miss a green, you've got a really good chance of getting it within 5 feet and then making the putt. Now, these numbers assume that you don't 3-putt, and that's another reason that you need to practice these short putts, because I'll guarantee that most of the time when you 3-putt, it involves missing a 5-footer. You hit the ball onto the green, and then your first putt, let's say you're 30 feet away, and you make a decent lag putt, and you're 4 or 5 feet away, and then you miss that one. Now you 3-putted. If you work on those 4 or 5 footers, you never have to worry about 3-putting, because you're 30, 50, 60 feet away. You put it inside the 5 feet circle, inside the kill zone, and you have confidence that you can go up and make that. By the way, it makes those short putts or it makes those long putts so much easier, because you know when you have a long lag putt, you're aiming for the hole, but you don't have to put it in. As long as you get it in that 5 feet circle, you're confident that you're going to make the second putt. That really cuts down on the 3-putting. And then one last reason that you ought to practice these 3, 4, 5 footers is there's a sense in which every putt is a 3-foot putt. Think about it this way. All you can really do is get it started on the right line in that first few feet, and then gravity, inertia, momentum take over. So you need to work on those 3, 4, 5 footers. In fact, a lot of times, if you'll break down your longer putts, let's say you got a 15-footer. That's really not a 15-footer. It's really only 3 5-footers. Let's say you have a 10-foot putt. Well, that's three or 4 3-footers. And you start to think of it that way and envision seeing your ball that way as you're looking at the ball and you're looking at the hole. It makes a huge difference in just your mentality. So you take a long putt and you break it down. Let's say you've got a 20-footer. Well, that's 4 5-foot putts. You practice the 5-footers all the time. That's your kill zone. So all I have to do is get the ball from here to that spot 5 feet away. From there, gravity, momentum, inertia take over, friction, the ball rolling on the green, and it goes the next 5 feet, the next 5 feet, and then the last 5 feet into the hole. Try that. It'll really help. So guys, that's why you ought to practice those short putts all the time. 3, 4, 5 footers. Get really good at those. Make that in your mind your kill zone, where you know that you've got that drilled down. You know, and you know that if you're inside 5 feet, there's a high probability you're going to make that putt. That'll improve your game and save you lots of strokes. In fact, I'm going to put a little drill right up here. You can link to it, that talks about how to practice your 3-foot putts in the winter, outdoors, indoors, doesn't matter. I know some of you are on the COVID lockdowns right now. Some of you have snow and etc. on the ground. This is a great time to work on those 3-foot putts, and you can work on them anywhere. Check out this drill. If you enjoy this, I'd appreciate it if you'd give us a thumbs up, subscribe, share it with your friends, put your comments down below on what you think about how this helped you and worked out for you. Thanks, and here's to you making more putts.